The mini PC market in 2025 has become flooded with sketchy brands making outrageous performance claims while delivering cheap hardware that fails within months, fake specifications that don't match reality, and non-existent customer support that leaves you stranded with expensive paperweights. From fake RAM and storage capacities to counterfeit processors running at half the claimed speeds, from power supplies that catch fire to thermal solutions that let CPUs thermal throttle constantly, these mini PCs represent the worst value in computing with prices that seem like deals but deliver nothing but frustration and failure. Today I'm exposing the mini PC brands you absolutely must avoid in 2025, revealing the specific models that will waste your money, and explaining exactly why these devices are terrible investments that you'll regret within weeks of purchase. Number 5. Komrui E3B. The Komrui E3B is what you should absolutely avoid despite the tempting $200 price point, because this mini PC represents everything wrong with budget brands. This questionable device claims to feature Intel processors and impressive specs on paper, but real-world testing reveals performance nowhere near advertised specifications. The thermal management is absolutely abysmal, with the CPU thermal throttling constantly during any workload exceeding basic web browsing and document editing. The 16 GB RAM advertised is often slower single-channel memory running at lower speeds than specified, crippling performance compared to proper dual-channel configurations. The included SSD frequently uses QLC NAND with terrible endurance and performance that degrades rapidly within months of normal use and operation. What makes this particularly problematic is Komrui having virtually no customer support, with buyers left stranded when issues inevitably arise after purchase. Real user experiences report random crashes, blue screens, and complete system failures occurring within 3 to 6 months of purchase, requiring replacement or repair. The BIOS is locked down, preventing any meaningful upgrades or tweaking to improve the terrible out-of-box performance and thermal behavior. The power supply included is often generic and potentially dangerous, with inadequate protections that could damage components or create fire hazards during operation. What makes this especially frustrating is the fake reviews flooding Amazon and other marketplaces, making it difficult to discern genuine user experiences. Number 4. Tricky Mini PC. The Tricky Mini PC lineup should be avoided entirely because this brand exemplifies the shadiest practices plaguing the budget mini PC market currently. These suspicious devices feature spec sheets that are blatantly misleading, with processors listed as higher-end SKUs but actually shipping with lower-tier chips. The advertised RAM capacities frequently don't match what's actually installed, with 32 GB systems shipping with 16 GB or mismatched modules, crippling performance dramatically. The thermal solution is completely inadequate, with a tiny heatsink and weak fan that allows the CPU hitting thermal limits within seconds of load. What makes Tricky particularly problematic is the frequent use of counterfeit components, including fake Samsung SSDs that are actually cheap no-name drives. Real user testing reveals the processors are often locked to lower power limits, preventing them from reaching advertised boost clocks during any sustained workload. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity uses cheap generic modules that drop connections constantly and deliver speeds nowhere near modern standards claim. The I/O ports frequently malfunction, with USB ports dying, HDMI output failing, and Ethernet connections becoming unreliable within months of normal use. The pre-installed Windows is often using illegal activation keys that get deactivated by Microsoft, requiring users to purchase legitimate licenses, adding unexpected costs. What makes this especially problematic is Tricky listing multiple brand variations and model names, making it difficult to avoid their products completely. The customer reviews are clearly manipulated, with fake 5-star reviews flooding listings, while genuine negative experiences get buried or removed mysteriously. Number 3. BMax Mini PC. The BMax Mini PC should be avoided at all costs because this brand consistently delivers the worst build quality and reliability in the entire mini PC market. These problematic devices suffer from catastrophic failure rates, with users reporting dead units out of the box, or complete failures within the first month consistently. The power delivery system is dangerously inadequate, with the VRMs overheating and failing under sustained loads that the CPU should theoretically handle without issues. The RAM used is often mismatched modules or single-channel configurations that cripple performance to levels that make the system unusable for anything beyond basic tasks. The BIOS is ancient and barely functional, with critical settings locked and no updates ever released to fix bugs or improve compatibility with modern hardware. What makes BMAX particularly terrible is the thermal design, allowing components to reach dangerous temperatures that accelerate component degradation and premature failure. Real testing shows the CPU throttling to 30 to 40% of rated performance within minutes of any workload, because the cooling cannot handle the heat generated. The Wi-Fi module is essentially useless, with constant disconnections and speeds so slow that Ethernet becomes mandatory for any meaningful internet usage. The audio output is plagued by electrical noise and interference, making it unusable for any media consumption or video conferencing requiring clear sound. The case design has sharp edges and poor assembly, with screws stripping easily and panels not fitting properly, indicating terrible quality control throughout manufacturing. Number 2. Ace Magician MiniPC. The Ace Magician MiniPC lineup represents some of the most deceptive marketing in the entire MiniPC industry, with claims that are blatantly false and misleading. These misleading devices advertise gaming capabilities and 4K video editing, but deliver performance that can barely handle 1080p YouTube playback without stuttering and dropped frames. The Intel 12th Gen processors advertised are often the absolute lowest-end N-series chips, with performance comparable to processors from 5+ years ago. The cooling system is a complete joke, with a tiny aluminum heatsink and pathetic 40mm fan that screams at maximum RPM while still allowing thermal throttling. The RAM configuration uses the slowest possible DDR4 speeds in single-channel mode, crippling the already weak integrated graphics to unusable levels for anything. What makes Ace Magician particularly problematic is the systematic use of misleading benchmark screenshots showing performance that's physically impossible with the included hardware. The product listings feature edited images showing brand-name components that aren't actually included when the unit arrives, creating clear bait-and-switch tactics. Real user testing reveals synthetic benchmark scores that are 50 to 70% lower than advertised specifications, indicating either false claims or defective hardware throughout production. The storage performance is abysmal, with cheap no-name SSDs delivering read-write speeds that are slower than mechanical hard drives in some cases. The build quality feels like it costs $50, with plastic that flexes when touched, and assembly so poor that panels fall off during normal handling. Number 1. AceMagic MiniPC. The AceMagic MiniPC is the absolute worst mini-PC brand you can possibly buy in 2025, representing rock bottom in quality, honesty, and reliability across the industry. This disastrous brand has been caught multiple times shipping units with malware pre-installed, including cryptocurrency miners running in the background, stealing your electricity and computing resources. The thermal management is criminal negligence, with CPUs reaching 100 degrees C within seconds of any load and throttling to unusable performance levels during normal desktop operations. The power supply is genuinely dangerous, with reports of units catching fire, melting connectors, and causing electrical damage to other devices connected to the same circuit. The motherboard quality is bottom tier, with traces so thin they fail under normal use, capacitors that bulge within weeks, and solder joints that crack from thermal cycling. What makes AceMagic the absolute worst is their systematic fraud, with fake reviews, edited specification sheets, and marketing that borders on criminal misrepresentation. Real users report the Windows installation being completely broken, with missing drivers, corrupted system files, and constant blue screens requiring complete reinstallation immediately. The I/O ports fail regularly, with USB devices not being recognized, display outputs dying completely, and Ethernet connections becoming completely non-functional randomly. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are so unreliable that many users resort to USB adapters immediately after purchase just to get functioning wireless connectivity. What makes this absolutely unforgivable is AceMagic having the worst customer support in the entire industry, with users reporting 0 responses to support tickets.